Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. I am back again with another Alliance War video. It's war number 6 in season 41, I believe. Is it? I don't even know what season it is, but war number 6. So this is a halfway point of the season. I'm going to be using Diablo yet again, who has been absolutely crushing it. Nick Fury for one of the earlier fights. But I must say that I did not necessarily want to take my Diablo initially to rank 4 because I had plenty of Mystics ranked as is. But the situation in our battle group was where we only had one rank 4 Diablo, and it was White Mummies, and he hasn't been able to do as many fights recently because of internet issues in his home country. And because of it, we kind of needed another one, and he kindly asked me, kind of obliged. And I must say that he definitely has been getting out the most of that Diablo. Red Skull is here for the passive poison synergy, which is extremely important for Diablo. And it kind of becomes similar to using Human Torch with Infinite No Flame, with the difference being that you typically do want to get to a level 3, but a level 3 will nuke pretty much anything. You guys can see that. We're going to have some interesting fights. And who are we going up against? We are going up against none other than GT40, obviously the undisputed top war alliance in our game. They have had, I believe, 10 plus first place finishes. They have pretty much, well, yeah, I don't remember a season when they didn't place first last. So they are obviously extremely strong alliance, and we always have many close wars. Most of the time they do get the better of us. One of the last times we played, we actually tied them 1-1 and lost on time. And, you know, it's always a very stressful, tense war, and these guys just do not die. But all right, let's get into the war itself. So the first fight here is going to be against the Thing, and also because it's the Thing and I'm using Nick Fury, I do not really want to be hitting too hard. So I'm actually just going to be using a 20% boost. You know, I probably didn't even need that, but just wanted to be safe. And I'm not going to be putting on attack boost. I put on a 15% health boost. But the reason for it is, yeah, I do not want to be hitting too hard because I'm also going to be getting passive Furies on this node, because I'm going to keep purifying debuffs from long distance relationship and so on and so forth. And the base idea is, yeah, I need to watch out my damage output and how frequently I trigger protection. So the first thing there, I think parry did fail, or maybe I mistimed it. But for most part, I just want to kind of like spam my heavy attacks. I do know that I have quite a bit of leeway, because even if I do mess up, I still have the second life of Nick Fury. I do not need Nick Fury for any of the other fights. And that's basically what I'm going to be doing. Now, I will kind of mess up a bit in this fight a few times, actually, where I'm going to rely on Disorient. Here we can see, well, I didn't rely on it. I just got lucky that Disorient shut down the Unstoppable because I pushed him past 15 charges. And when you consistently kind of like use those bleeds, but at the same time, you know, he still gains some charges because there is a cooldown. It is somewhat tricky at times to navigate Thing being at 15 charges. Here is the second time where I get lucky. And after this point, this is where I should have remained at, where I have 16 charges, I have passive Furies, and I should not have thrown any more level 1s here, but I do, and that is a mistake, because obviously I get the big Nick Fury's Fury on me, and with that I'm going to trigger protection more often, not to mention I lost my unblockable. But ultimately, it's Nick Fury against the Thing. It's not the fastest fight, but it's definitely not too risky either. I did manage to heal back some of the health that I lost, and it's kind of fairly straightforward. There's nothing too exciting in this fight. It's just a very safe, steady option. And now, from this point forward, the good stuff starts. Now, at this point forward, we're going to have the Diablo take the wheel, and the first fight is actually going to be kind of like the dodgiest one aside from one of the mini bosses, and that's Mallman. Obviously, there's Power Snack, there is Conflictor, Flourish buffs will and can come into play as well, because they increase the Conflictor as well, I believe. And this fight definitely isn't going to go to plan always. I did have a plan going in this fight, but it quickly went to wayside because I did make a mistake. Luckily, we are using Diablo. I have put on Liquid Courage Double Edge Recoil. Obviously, with that, Diablo also becomes tankier. My Diablo isn't terribly high sig. I think I took him to sig 80 or something, because when I took him to rank 4, he was actually only sig 20. And, you know, the higher the better. So here I did want to get... Oh, was this fight actually went fine? Oh, no, this here was the big mistake. I ate a heavy attack. The rest of the fight will go according to the plan, because I throw my level 1. That immediately gets rid of Mole Man's flourish charges. The only problem with this fight, now that I recall it, is, yeah, that I ate that heavy attack and it wasn't too pretty. But the thing that I explained about No Flame, again, would these not be passive poisons, all of them would get shrugged off. All of them. Now, however, we can see that I have triggered 14 poisons, I have 15 poisons, and I actually managed to sneak in a little bit of healing as well, but a level 3 nuked down that Mole Man basically from 100% health, or close to 100% health. Yeah, he was at 100% health when I activated my level 3. And here we go, 87% coming out of it, so entire Mole Man's health pool, the entire health pool, just melts away after a single level 3. And obviously, in this meta, it's super easy to get to that level 3 against the tactic defenders as well. If you can in a fight, just block a whole bunch of hits. And yeah, have fun. There's not much else to it. Just block a bunch of hits, throw your level 1, and you're going to get to 3 bars of power. Now, next up, we have Terrax. Typically, most of the time this season, we see Absorbing Man getting sent here. But there's absolutely no reason why Diablo shouldn't be sent here, as we're going to see by this fight. I'm thinking, should I activate pre-fight here? I do choose to activate pre-fight. That helps me heal back all of the energy damage that I am taking, because obviously Terrax rock field is energy damage. And other than that, I just need to give my baby Diablo, or grandpa Diablo, or alcoholic Diablo a bit of health, and then we can head in. And this fight isn't gonna go too bad either. So here, again, just parry heavy. I don't know if I should have parried heavy at the start, but fine. At some point, I will just... Well, here I do throw my level 1, and, you know, now his rock field has expired. I'm just gonna parry heavy a bit more. Meanwhile, I'm healing from my poisons, and I'm healing from the armor breaks. He has a whole bunch of poisons on him as well. What I want him to do is throw his level 1, make him incredibly easy to intercept. And as soon as I reach my level 3, I just drop my level 3. He's at 50% health at this point. But again, we got rid of ebb and flow protection. And we're going to see one Terrax gets sent to the Shadow Realm by Diablo himself. He has 13 poisons that are active on himself, and job's done. Just dash away, finish with a perfect, nice, squeaky clean, shiny 100% yellow bar. And the next fight is a fight that my officer was slightly worried. Basically, the decision was either use Diablo for the Thing fight at the start and bring in a dedicated counter for this Absorbing Man, or bring in a dedicated counter for the Thing and use Diablo for the Absorbing Man. Again, only reason I am able to do these fights really is, or the main reason why I'm able to do these fights, especially here where Mighty Charge is a node, but even with the rest of the ebb and flow, is the fact that my poisons are passive. So that is why that synergy is so important. You can see that Mighty Charge obviously would effectively force clear all of those poisons every time Absorbing Man dashes, which he does a lot in this fight. But passive poisons are, well, not debuffs, so Mighty Charge can't purify them. And here we can see that Diablo is clearly putting in work, even though I have yet to disable that protection. And the plan is here quite clear. I'm going to switch off his form. I try to switch off his form whenever he refines it, so I can take some hits into the block. And at some point, I need to get in a squeaky, nice little clean intercept. Slightly risky, but I kind of felt good about it. And now I have reached 3 bars of power. Absorbing Man's yet again at 50%. And how do you guys think what is going to happen when Absorbing Man, well, when Diablo throws his level 3? Also, a very important side note, as we watch the Absorbing Man completely melt and Diablo finish with another squeaky full yellow bar. is that at this point the war was tied. Both had died 2 times. So again, every death counts. Every death absolutely counts at this point as I'm doing my fights. 2-2. Everything's up for grabs. And I need to deal with this Rinter. This Rinter was assigned in between me and another player who had the rank 4 Titania. And they were kind of like thinking which one would be better, Titania or Diablo. Again, our White Mummy, who is our Bile Group attack planner, was kind of wanting to discuss that. And we kind of did a little bit. But truth to be told, I just kind of felt confident by doing this fight because in the previous fight, I had done similar fights with Diablo. And I was like, yeah, I got this. And here again, we're just going to build up to level 3. And we're going to, play around Mighty Charge, ignore the ebb and flow intercept. There is no real need to remove that protection until I get to the level 3. And truth be told, I could probably get away with never intercepting the Trintra. But it's fine. So here I do medium light, dash back, get an intercept. Here we can see that Rintra is at 71% health. And here we have, again, only reason this works as well in general is because the poisons are passive and Mighty Charge can't purify it. And here we drop our level 3. I have 14 poisons, 12 poisons here on Rintra, but I do have that Fury. And they are just, ticking away, doing the job. I'm just going to wait until Rintra throws his level 2 and that Rintra goes down in like minute and 20 seconds of fight time or something similar to that. So that was very neat. So I clipped these fights for my teammates. And this fight is the one that I really don't like taking. This is my second time ever, I think, taking Punisher 2099 on this node. And I really, really don't like taking this fight. The reason for it is, and this is a very, 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 very good placement. The reason is because Punisher 2099's special attacks are basically unavoidable, right? You have to eat them to the face or block them. If you block them, he's going to gain a whole bunch of flourish charges. There's a node that gives him a ton of power whenever his buffs are nullified, and that includes Fate Seal. And then on top of it, his special attacks cost half the power they normally would. And the end result is that it's almost impossible to control this fight. Yeah, whilst he's neutralized, obviously he's not going to be gaining flourish charges, but still his specials only costing half what they normally would, giving you a ton of block damage. They're not easily punishable. Chances are those neutralizers are going to fall off at some point because it's still RNG dependent. And I have the worst, best strategy for this fight whenever I'm tackling it. I know that is not what my officers kind of want me to do in a sense, or how they plan this fight to play out. But I have the worst best strategy for this fight, which is just go balls to the wall. Problem with that is when Punisher uses Special 3, he puts a relatively potent damage over time disintegration debuff on you, and you also lose like all of your combat power rate. But nonetheless, in between Diablo's protection, healing, and everything else that's happening, well, let's take a look. But I definitely wanted to point out that this fight I really don't like doing, and this is also a placement, that I find to be this is one of the dodgiest fights my team makes me occasionally do. But the plan here for this fight is very, very simple. And it is going to be, just don't care how much power he has. That's it. Just hit Punisher. Don't try to build up to level 3. Don't do anything. Just hit the Punisher, finish your combos with medium, throw your level 1s, pause the poisons, let him live in a 3-bar territory, throw your level 1 yet again. He's going to use his level 3 at some point. That's fine. That's what the Indestructible 3 boost is. After this point, I basically will have no combat power rate, but I can eat 2 more level 3s. And here we can see he still has a bar and a half of power left. But I still managed to maintain like 5 poison stacks on him, so just going for it. Unfortunately, here my neutralizers are about to expire. Now I do get to apply them again. He goes for his second level 3. Still have a point in Indestructible. Fine. Eat the second level 3. And here we go. Just go and hit him a few more times. And job's done. And I still finish with 68% health. So I call that an absolute win. that is the worst strategy you can have in the fight, I suppose. Just basically push opponent to level 3 and eat those level 3s despite all the damage over time effect, despite everything else. But this fight, honestly, it's kind of like a clusterfuck of effects. You know, you can't parry if you don't have neutralize on, and when he starts throwing special attacks, that's cool. If he gains any flourish charge, whenever you use special attack or hit his block, he's gonna gain like all this power, and you can easily fall down the rabbit hole of where you are trying to consistently bait out all the special attacks and all the power from this guy without actually doing any damage. And I just choose to kind of enter a damage race. You know, let's see who dies first type of situation. And Diablo wins. Still defend my decision. Don't care what my alliance might say. And now it's the final. Now, here again, this is situation where if I die, we lose. That is the situation with this one. If I die clearing this last mini boss or boss, we lose. We still have some relatively straightforward path fights to clear up that are waiting for boss to go down. But yes, the base gist is if I or anybody else who has any fights left, and it was only BG3 that had fights left, gets KO'd, we lose the war. And I'm going to explain the situation there fully after that, but the main point is that this is extremely stressful war. I think at this point we are 4-1 in the season, and GT40 are 5-0 in the season. They do have better attack bonus than we do, so even if we beat GT40, we don't overtake them. But at the same time, you know, we kind of like just maintain our chances for a solid top 3 finish. That is what we are fighting for here. And here against that Vision Aarkus, one mistake that I did is I let an armor break initially be placed on me. And that, you know, gives me some cold snap damage. But it's fine because as soon as I use a level 1, that goes away. And the thing about Vision Aarkus that a lot of people may not know is if he does not have his power gain buff active, his armor breaks do not work, basically. So as long as you keep power gains off him, his armor breaks will do nothing to you. And then the rest of the fight you can take in several different directions. I can build level 3 and just try and be aggressive, or I can just spam my level 1s to pause the poisons and, you know, do a slowly more moderate fight, which is something that I chose to go for this time around here. You can see that I have the 4 poisons on him. They're doing solid damage. Just baiting out his specials. I do have Indestructible 3 boost active should I happen to need it. But ultimately, you know, for most part, we managed this fight relatively fine. Didn't take too much damage. I would have finished with full yellow bar probably if I had not gotten that cold snap initially at me. But it's fine. And now it's the boss fight. Now this is the boss fight. And the thing that makes this boss a tiny bit scary is, and the main Diablo strategy a tiny bit scary, I suppose, is the Sadist node. For each buff that he has active, he gains a significant attack bonus. And the point is, I do not want to get cornered too fast, but I will at some point or another want to get to level 3, either by abusing flourish buffs or not. But here I disable his rod, and he gets his 3 furies. But I miss away that Dawn Annihilus's level 1, and then I get intercepted. So that's my Indestructible 3 boost out of the window, and I'm definitely not doing the best I can. And this fight is in a bit of a jeopardy. Finally, I get away from that Annihilus level 1. It has a bit dodgy timing. Most of the time, I do get it right. I do know that you can punish it, and I do punish it as well. But it's fine. Now I have my level 3, though. So Annihilus is at 72%. I could have taken this fight again slightly different by letting him hit me in the block a bunch and then using level 1. But I just didn't feel like it this time. But here you can see that I activated my level 3, and after the level 3, Annihilus health is just disappearing. Now, my job now is to get to my level 1 quickly enough. But since I ate that level 1 instead of dodging it, I just missed it. I had 14 poisons that expired whilst he's at 7%. But that's fine because I still have 2 poisons working in the background, dealing damage. And that's going to chip him away, basically. So, not the cleanest, not the prettiest Annihilus solo for sure. I'm 1000% sure I could do that fight better. But at the same time, obviously, solo is a solo. Still had 65% health remaining. And as I finished my fights, this was the situation in the war board. And you guys see that we are one death down. The reason why this was still an acceptable margin, the reason why we actually ended up winning this war, is because somebody in GT40 didn't place a defense. That does make a war win feel shallow, because had that not happened, obviously GT40 would have won. From the other side of the perspective, a win is a win, and every single one of these top tier wars with 2 or 3 deaths is effectively always decided by somebody making a bad mistake, forgetting to do something. Like we had somebody die because they just forget to apply indestructible 3 boost to a fight where they absolutely should have. But yeah, it doesn't feel as great as it should do, but it still feels good not to lose to GT40. And yeah, so we ended up getting the W here. So I do believe that GT40, Salty, and New Nation are all at the moment with 5-1 score. So still pretty much everything is up for grabs in the season. Everything is to be won. Everything is to be lost. And definitely a very, very tense war. But Diablo yet again just proves how absolutely bonkers OP he is for this war tactic and these war seasons. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the war video, and I will catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about